Eat right to be healthy and strong. Eat right if you want to live long. Put your mind before your might. When you take a bite, you can't go wrong when you eat right.
You are in for a very special treat, my friends. You are going to hear a great story from my friend, Jay Stetzer. So let's give him a huge council round of applause.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Buongiorno. Guten Tag. Salam. Salamat. Aloha. Ni hao. Konnichiwa. There's a tough one. Salamat pagi. All of those phrases mean the same thing, don't they? They all mean good morning in different languages, and children around the world say good morning in so many ways, but the one thing that seems to be the same is when they say their good morning, there's this great big smile on their face. And no matter where I go in the world, I see those children smiling, and it makes me smile inside. My name is Jay Stetzer, and I tell stories. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about this time of year, but it's not about the season changing and the colors in the trees. And it's not about what might be coming in the way of white flakes. And it's not about going back to school. What could it possibly be about? Well, it's not exactly about Halloween. And yes, that's something that's on everyone's mind, isn't it? And I know that many of you will be dressing up in costumes to do that very special tradition called trick or treating. That's exactly right. And when you go trick or treating, you get a big bag or jack-o'-lantern box filled with candy. And that's what this story is all about. Once there was a king who was very fond of food. But not just any food, no. Sweet food, neat food, sugary tasting treat food, new sweets, old sweets, even hot and cold sweets, by day, by night, by sun and candlelight. He ate and stuffed his royal face filled with every kind of sweet. He sang while he ate. Yum, 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 yum. His royal belly grew and grew and grew until he nearly exploded. And then he ate some more and sang while he ate. Yum, 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 yum. He ate until he grew as big as a hot air balloon. But he couldn't float up into the sky. As big as a whale. But he would have sunk to the bottom of the ocean. As big as a mountain. But he couldn't possibly climb. He didn't seem to care. He just kept eating and singing. Yum, 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 his royal court grew very worried. The queen was worried, indubitably. The prime minister was worried, indubitably. The prince was worried, indubitably. The royal knight was worried. The royal wizard was worried. Well, yeah, certainly the royal physician was worried. And of course, even the royal jester was worried. In fact, the only one who wasn't worried was he just went on snacking and singing. Yum, 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 the queen said to him, "Oh, my dear Majesty, I dare say your royal eating habit is making your royal clothing a bit tight." And the king said, "Nonsense. The clothes shrunk in the wash." "Well, I dare say that you probably don't feel very good sleeping on the royal stone floor because you can't fit in the royal feather bed." "Nonsense," said the king. "I like sleeping on the floor. That way, I can't fall out of bed." Oh. "Well, don't you miss sitting on your royal throne? I know that you broke it, just like Goldilocks." "Nonsense. It was wobbly to begin with." And off went the king to eat more sweets and sing again. Yum, yum. Yum, yum, well, the royal court sang a very different tune. A slow tune. A sad tune. It went something like this. Yuck, 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 yuck. The queen said, "This is dreadful. No matter what we say, the king doesn't seem to understand what we're trying to tell him." The prince said, "Yes, I dare say so. It seems as if he doesn't care about his health." The royal wizard said, "He knows not how to eat healthfully." And the queen said, "Well, something must be done." And they sang their sad song again. Yuck, 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 yuck. jester called out.
Your Majesty, I have an idea.
What are you doing, Royal Jester? I told you are full of clever thoughts. What is the clever idea you have?
Well, listen, let's have a meeting of all the concerned royal subjects.
Ooh, a clever idea. A meeting.
Yes, let's meet late tonight in the dungeon.
The dungeon?
The dungeon.
Oh, what a dreadful place. Why on earth would you ever want to meet in such a horrid spot like the dungeon?
Because, Your Majesty, that is the last place the king would ever expect to find us.
Yes, I believe you're right. So, we will meet in the dungeon late tonight. And sure enough, late that night they all gathered in the great hall of the castle. And when everyone was there, the jester was the one who led them down the hall, around the corner, and down the circular stairs, deeper and deeper into the chasm at the bottom of the castle, where the dungeon was laid. Now, the royal jester started to sing a quiet song, and all of the royal subjects following him echoed very quietly. It meant something like this. Off to the dungeon, down below. And they all sang, off to the dungeon, down below. The king won't find us, the king won't know. The king won't find us, the king won't know. And then the royal wizard called out, we'll hold a secret meeting to save the king. His sweet tooth is a problem, he's eating everything. And then the knight called out, we really must stop him from eating so much. He's getting so big, he might blow up. And then the jesters called out again. Off to the dungeon, down below. Off to the dungeon, down below. The king won't find us. Hush, now, let's go. They opened the dungeon door. Crept inside in the darkness. The jester called out,
Is everyone here?
the queen said, I believe so. What do we do now, jester?
Oh, we make a plan.
Ooh, a plan! How clever of you! What kind of a plan? The royal wizard was the first to speak up. He said, I believe I have an idea. What clever trick are you conjuring up, wizard? I believe I can cast a spell that would cause the king, when he looks at food, the food would disappear. You can do that? Oh, I believe I can. Oh, make it so, make it so. Then the royal knight called, I can help as well. Oh, really? You have a knightly task. Yes, I think I do. I could guard the royal kitchen so that the king will never be able to enter for his midnight snack. Ooh, we'll call you the midnight knight. Make it so. So the royal cook said, I can make healthy foods so that all the king eats is food to keep him slim and trim. Oh, make it so. And finally the jester spoke and said, I believe I can help too. Oh, Jester, what clever trick are you thinking of?
Well, I could entertain the king so that
He'll forget about food. He'll just want to laugh at me. Well, make it so, she said. And Then she looked at each one in the darkness as best she could and said, "Now, if this works, we'll finally have a healthy king." And the wizard said, "Oh, that would be nothing short of magic." "Oh, that's true, wizard. So let's get to work." Tiptoed out, first opening the dungeon door. Singing as they went. Out from the dungeon, down below. The king won't find us. The king won't know.
The king won't find us. The king won't know.
We held a secret meeting to save the king. His sweet tooth is a problem. He's eating everything. We really must stop him from eating so much. He's getting so big he might blow up. The king won't find us. Hush now, let's go. They all set to work. And after a few days, the queen noticed the king frantically pacing back and forth, and she was a bit nervous. She went to him and said, "Husband, if you keep up all that royal pacing, you're going to wear out the stone floor." "Oh, nonsense, nonsense. Besides, I can't stop. I just can't stop. Haven't had a single sweet to eat in 6 whole days." "6 whole days," she said. My, it hasn't even been a week." "Oh, it's been an eternity to me, and all I have to eat is fruits and vegetables. So, a body can't possibly survive on such things. I need chocolate, tasty treats, sugar." "Oh, bother," she said. "A body can't possibly survive on those things." And she stormed out, singing as she went. Meanwhile, the king kept pacing back and forth, muttering to himself, "If I don't find something more enjoyable to eat, I'll starve." Then he got to thinking, "I have it! Aha! Bring me the royal chef." And the royal chef came in, and he bowed to the king and said, "Yes, sire. What is it that you wish?" And the king said, I'd like you to arrange for a royal picnic." "A royal picnic, sire?" "Yes, a royal picnic with all the trimmings. You know, lots of cakes and pies and chocolate, plenty of chocolate." "Sumptuous picnic, sir. How large would you like it?" "Ooh, let's see. For 10, yes. No. Make it 20. Make it 20 people, 20 guests." "As you wish, sire." And off he went. The king rubbed his hands together and said, "That ought to do it." And he started to sing again. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Later on that day, in the royal garden, a great table was piled high with cakes, pies, cookies, and candies, and lots of chocolate. The king went up and tasted the chocolate. Well done, chef. Thank you, sire. And then he ate the chocolate. Very well done. You may go now. And the king looked over this entire array of goodies and said, it's a feast fit for a king. And he started eating and singing. Yum, 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 yum. Meanwhile, back in the castle, the royal court was looking for the king, and they couldn't find him anywhere. And were they ever in a tizzy? The queen said, Prince, have you seen the king? No, your majesty. Perhaps the prime minister has. Oh, no, your majesty. Perhaps the royal knight has. Oh, no, your majesty. Perhaps the royal wizard has. Oh, no, your majesty. Perhaps the royal jester has.
Why, yes, your majesty. The king is in the garden, eating bread and honey.
What? Said the queen. And they all ran into the garden. Oh, no. His royal belly is bigger than ever now. Oh. The king said, nonsense, just filled with good things to eat. Would you like a piece of cake? Oh, bother, she said. And they all stormed out of the garden, singing their very sad song. The king called after them, wouldn't you like a tasty treat? No? Well, I guess so much the better for me. Let's see. These are very hot. A couple of chocolates. Well, that should do it. And now back to my royal duties. And that's when the king made a discovery. A great discovery. An unfortunate great discovery. My goodness, he said, this is a fine pickle. I can't get through the castle door. He pushed, and he shoved, and he heaved, and he hove, and he huffed, and he puffed. But no matter what he did, he couldn't get himself through the door. He was just too well. The king looked at the picnic, what was left of it, and he looked at the castle, and then he looked a bit worried, and then he did what anyone would do in such a predicament. He hollered, in a most royal manner, mind you. He said, help, I say, help. Help, I say, help. I'm being held prisoner in my own garden. Help, help. Well, when the royal court heard him calling for help, they all came running, and when they took a look, they burst out laughing. Oh. It was the jester who spoke up and said, serves you right, your royal sweet tooth. Serves me right. you talking about? Well, tell me, how am I going to get out of here? I'll tell you, sir. You have a simple solution. Simple? Yes, sir. Simple. All you have to do from now on is eat right. Eat right? Yes. Eat right. If His Majesty puts his mind before his, then every door he encounters from now on will be easily navigated through. Not just the castle door, but every door he sees. And then the jester began to do a little jig all around the royal garden. And while he was jigging, he began to sing. Eat right to be healthy and strong. Eat right if you want to live long. Put your mind before your mouth when you take a bite. You can't go wrong when you eat right. Well, the rest of the royal court thought that was the best song they could ever think of, and they all started singing with him. Are you ready? Eat right to be healthy and strong. Eat right if you want to live long. Put your mind before your might when you take a bite. You can't go wrong when you eat right. Well, the royal knight started singing along. He went, I've got an idea. You come home from your castle and you're feeling beat. You're tired and you're hungry now. What to eat? If you want to have a food that's good for you, learn the food pyramid is what you're gonna do. The jester said, my goodness, you're quite a poet. And then they all started singing, eat right to be healthy and strong. Eat right if you want to live long. Put your mind before your mouth when you take a bite. You can't go wrong when you eat right. Eat right to be healthy and strong. Eat right if you want to live long. Put your mind before your mouth when you take a bite. You can't go wrong when you eat right. The queen applauded and said, oh, that's wonderful, Jester. A royal tree for royalty. And not only that, it's a healthy tree. The royal chef went right off to the royal kitchen and started cooking up a storm. All kinds of foods, good foods, healthy foods, foods with lots of protein, foods with lots of vitamins and minerals, food to feed the royal body and make it fit and trim. And not only that, that royal chef made sure that each bit of food he cooked tasted delicious. And in time, why, the king himself grew to like all that food. And he started to enjoy the taste of broccoli, potatoes, lettuce, tomatoes, squash, sprouts, even tofu and sauerkraut. And not only that, he got a lot of exercise out there in the fresh air. After all, what else could he do? It served him right. More than that, it served him well. And he never looked healthier. And in time, he was so slim and trim, he could walk easily back into the castle. And when he finally did, his royal court sang out, long live the king, long live the king, long live the king, long live the king. And the queen snuggled up next to him and said, my goodness, dear, you are one fine specimen of royalty, your handsome highness. And together they sang, yum, 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 The rest of the royal court said, "Your Majesty, we have a new royal song, which we will teach to the entire kingdom." His Majesty looked and said, "What song is that?" "This one, sire." Eat right to be healthy and strong. Eat right if you want to live long. Put your mind before your mouth. When you take a bite, you can't go wrong when you eat right. And they all cheered. Of course, their mouths were full of broccoli and carrots. And they clapped. And like other stories, they all lived healthfully ever after. Put your mind before your mouth when you take a bite. You can't go wrong when you eat right. Thank you, boys. Eat right to be healthy and strong. Eat right if you want to live long. Put your mind before your might. When you take a bite, you can't go